Chapter 7. Mappa Mundi. Sophia's entrance into the Luxor is less dramatic than expected. Inside the first bank of glass doors there is a second set. Unlike the exterior ones, she can see through these quite easily. Beyond them is a large open lobby. Sitting atop the opposite wall are two stone pharaohs, the rulers of ancient Egypt, keeping watch over the entrance. Between them is a wide rectangular opening, like the mouth of a sleeping monster, leading into the darkness beyond. Sophia pokes her head back outside and calls for Gabriel to join her. He scurries between the Sphinx's arms and stops beside her, panting and sweating. "You ready?" Sophia asks. "Yeah," Gabriel wheezes, catching his breath. They slink through the cavernous lobby and into the passageway. As their eyes adjust to a deeper level of darkness, they find themselves surrounded by hundreds of dusty slot machines. Plastic cups and empty bottles are everywhere, both on the slot machines and on the floor. "Be careful," Sophia mouths, pointing out the ones on the floor. She doesn't want Gabriel to kick a bottle or trip over a glass and cause a commotion. But the four from the train are nowhere in sight. They are invisible in the darkness. Sophia felt uneasy before, and that was when she could see them. Now they could be anywhere, surrounding the children, ready to ambush. A feeling of dread spreads through her chest. She doesn't care for this one bit. Gabriel starts to speak, but Sophia swiftly brings a finger to her lips, and he falls silent. She can't see the others, but she does hear their movements far off in the darkness. Suddenly, a voice calls out, and she almost yelps with surprise. "Anybody think to bring a flashlight?" someone asks. The tone is high-pitched, but undeniably male. Sophia thinks she can hear a tinge of southern drawl. "Yeah, I got one," says one of the women, and a beam of bluish light flickers to life. Immediately, a quartet of silhouettes becomes visible near the far end of the room. That worked out nicely, thinks Sophia. The flashlight's bouncing beam will make following them a piece of cake. Plus, by contrast, she and Gabriel will be more difficult to notice in the dark, unless someone were to shine that beam directly at them, of course. Now a third person, a man, speaks with the heavy accent of a European. He says, "We must find the southeast stairwell. Then we will be able to find the room." Sophia raises an eyebrow. The room? What room? Have these people traveled across the country just to find something hidden in this huge pyramid? If so, what could they possibly be searching for? The European speaks again and says, "Be on your guard. We don't know who might be watching." A door opens at the far end of the casino floor, and pale daylight floods through it. Someone whoops with approval, like Sophia's dad used to do when the Steelers scored a touchdown, and the four file quickly through the doorway. With a metallic clang, the heavy door slams shut behind them. "Hurry," Sophia whispers, pulling Gabriel along by the hand. As they run, she slams her shin into the corner of a slot machine. She bites her lip to stifle a whimper of pain and hobbles on until they have reached the door. "Ready?" she asks Gabriel. Still squeezing her hand, Gabriel nods uncertainly. Careful to make as little noise as possible, Sophia opens the door and ushers Gabriel through it. They find themselves in a concrete stairwell. Although the day is young, the sunlight seeping through the translucent window is already turning it into an oven. From here, they have two choices: up to the higher levels of the casino, or down into the earth below. "Which way?" Gabriel whispers. Just then, something clatters below them, echoing up the stairwell. Muffled but irritated voices follow. "I guess we're going down," Sophia answers nervously. Daylight abandons them as they corkscrew down the winding staircase. The deeper they plunge, the deeper the darkness becomes. Soon Gabriel is little more than a phantom, an inky shadow moving at Sophia's side. At least it isn't so stuffy down here, she tells herself. After what feels like forever, they come to the bottom of the stairs. Here, marked with plentiful warning signs, an iron door blocks their way. The door is old and rough-hewn, quite out of place in a sleek and sophisticated casino. It also looks like it weighs a ton, Literally. Sophia grabs one of the door's ancient rings. She yanks on it with all her might, but the door doesn't budge a single millimeter. "Help me pull," she whispers to Gabriel. Instead of helping, he laughs. "What's so funny?" she asks curtly. "Now isn't the time for jokes." "It's already open," Gabriel answers, pointing at the dark space along the door's edge. "It's just a crack, but I think we can fit." Sophia goes first. The gap between door and wall is narrow, but she manages to squeeze through. The much smaller Gabriel follows without a problem. As Sophia examines their new surroundings, she discovers they are at one end of a straight, dark tunnel. Unlike the rest of the building, its walls are rough and rocky. They look more like they belong inside a dragon's cave than a casino. At the other end of the corridor glows a bright disk of yellow light, partially eclipsed by four phantom-like silhouettes. It's hard for Sophia to be certain from this distance, but they appear to be in a hurry. The children creep along the subterranean tunnel, keeping close to the wall as they move through 200 feet of darkness. Although they make no noise, Sophia feels like she is lighting off a cannon every time she exhales, and popping a balloon with each step she takes. But no one hears them. Rather, as Sophia and Gabriel sneak further down the tunnel, the voices of the train people become audible. "She has already been here," says the man with the European accent, and a curse word bursts from his lips. After a brief silence, he explains, "The book isn't here anymore. See the empty pedestal in the middle of the map? And look at how the dust on the floor is disturbed. Someone has been here very recently." "Maybe the Guardian?" suggests one of the women. Sophia and Gabriel approach the end of the tunnel. A second iron door, so thick and ancient it could have stood at the entrance of a medieval castle, hangs open. On the other side is a vast, dome-shaped room. Sunlight filters in from somewhere far overhead. It fills the yawning chamber and illuminates what appears to be a large map spread from end to end across the floor. It is this, the map on the floor, which all four of the train people are staring at. The children are running out of darkness to hide them. They can't go any further without being seen, so Sophia directs Gabriel into the black space between the tunnel wall and the open iron door. Here they can hide and wait and listen. "I do not think the immovable did this," the accented man says in reply to the woman's question. Sophia shows the darkness her most confused expression. What, or who, is an immovable? Some sort of underground guardian? A security system? A monster? The man continues, pointing at the ground and saying, "Look at these patterns in the dust. They swirl all around the room. Whoever was here last spent some time studying the map. An immovable would have no reason to do so, nor would they take the Book of Relics. According to my research, their only purpose is to guard the hallowed vaults and nothing else." There is a pause, then, "No, this must be the doing of Lin Lai and her people." More people? Until 2 nights ago, Sophia was sure she was the last person alive on planet Earth. Then Gabriel materialized on the roof of her van. The very next day, they found a train with 4 more people aboard. And now this foreign man is claiming there is yet another gang of pyramid crashers somewhere nearby? Everything Sophia has learned over the past couple years has been flipped upside down in less than 48 hours. With all the new information, a question sprouts inside her like a tiny sapling of hope. How many more might be out there? "Well, what do you want us to do, boss?" asks the young man with the black hat and southern twang. "Take pictures," the leader replies. "Take as many as you can, and as fast as you can. If there is an immovable around here, we will not want to linger." The children overhear the clicking of cameras and the shuffling of feet. Through a tiny crack near the door's hinge, Sophia spots the dark-featured, suit-wearing man. He is kneeling, examining something on the ground. He reaches for it, rubs it gently with his fingers, and then stands up again. You do know what this means, don't you? He asks the rest of the crew. The fact that this place exists, it means the rest of the legend must also be real. It means this place, this room, is only the beginning. It means that if we are going to accomplish our goal, we will have to journey to the four corners of the earth. Are you prepared to do this? Are you ready for everything which lies ahead? You know we're with you, Etere, one of the women replies. Your goal is our goal. For a few minutes, nobody speaks. The only sounds coming from the room are those of the cameras, their shutters chattering as they record hundreds of pictures. Eventually, the leader declares, That is enough. We should leave. If Lin has been here, we cannot waste another moment. Sophia and Gabriel flatten themselves against the wall, holding their breath as the four file out. Now seeing the two women up close, Sophia thinks they are in fact twins. One has short cropped hair, while the other wears hers in a long, single braid down the middle of her back. They are followed by their dark-featured leader, while the young man in the cowboy hat brings up the rear. After the train people have gone a safe distance down the tunnel, Sophia and Gabriel scamper from their hiding place and into the room. The chamber, Sophia notices, is about 50 feet across and perfectly circular. Its dome shape reminds her of the planetarium she visited in first grade. Unlike the rough tunnel, the walls and ceiling here are made of polished stone and are completely bare, devoid of any kind of decoration. The ceiling's one and only feature is the glass disc at its center, through which abundant sunlight pours into the room. Now Sophia understands why the others were so fixated on the floor. Thousands, perhaps millions of tiny tiles create the largest mosaic she has ever seen. Stretched from end to end, the sea of tiles covers the entire floor. Each stone square, which can't be any larger than her thumbnail, is one of two colors, white or black. All of them together form an unmistakable map of the world. The black tiles denote the presence of land, while the white ones make up lakes and rivers and oceans. In the middle of the map, standing 4 feet high, is a stone pedestal. The smooth, circular platform on top is empty. According to the man called Etere, something called the Book of Relics sat here until recently. What do you think the little red circles are for? Gabriel whisper yells at her. He is squatting, studying a part of the map. As Sophia shuffles to his side, she realizes he is looking down at the American Southwest. Below him, right where one would find Las Vegas, is a red circle the size of a dessert plate. It is made of a single tile and is sunk 2 inches lower than the rest of the floor. Something else catches her eye and she asks, Can you move back just a bit? Gabriel remains in his squatting position as he scoots backward. When he does, 2 mysterious words become visible beneath the red circle. Mappa Mundi. What's it mean? Asks Gabriel, tracing the letters with his fingers. Sophia shakes her head and replies, I don't know. It's in a different language. Latin, I think. Standing, she asks, Are there any more like that? Gabriel shrugs. He is too fascinated with his first discovery to care. It only takes a couple seconds for Sophia to find another red circle. This one is in the skinny part, near the bottom of Central America, right before it balloons back out into South America, which is where she finds a third. As was the case with the first, each red circle has a pair of Latin words beneath it. Templum saltu, summa villa. There is another red dot on the northernmost point of Europe. Norway? Sweden? Sophia cannot remember exactly. The script below it reads, Promontorium Boreale. Deliberately, Sophia meanders around the whole map. As she does, she counts the red dots with their Latin subtitles. There are 3 in the Americas, 2 in Europe, 1 on the African mainland, and another on the large island east of the continent, Madagascar, she's pretty sure. Then there's an 8th just below the Arabian Peninsula, and a 9th in the southeastern region of Asia, perhaps in India or China. It's difficult to know for sure, because the map doesn't delineate borders between countries. Finally, she finds red dots on Japan, Australia, and in the middle of the ocean, far from the west coast of South America. Including the Las Vegas dot, she counts 12. A dozen locations scattered around the world, their meaning a complete mystery to her. What, Sophia wonders, did we stumble into? She certainly might have stayed to wonder some more, but at that moment, from the mouth of the tunnel, a rumbling clang echoes into the sunlit chamber. Sophia jumps, startled, and peers into the darkness. With a sickening realization, her stomach drops. "Gabriel, come on, hurry!" she cries. Sophia doesn't wait for him. She sprints down the corridor as fast as her legs can carry her. At the other end, she runs into a dark and solid mass. It's exactly as she feared. When the people from the train left, they shut the iron door behind them. She throws all her weight against it, trying desperately to push it open. When Gabriel arrives, panting and frantic, he adds his meager strength to Sophia's efforts. But the door will not budge. Not a single inch. They are trapped.